Andrew here from the York Group, and today I have the pleasure of speaking to Stephen Stewart, Chairman of Orecap. Stephen, exciting news from Orecap out today. Could you give us an update on the Thierry project, as well as what we can expect over the next 12 months?
On behalf of Orecap, we're very pleased to update our business on the Thierry, which is owned 100% by Cuprum, where Orecap is the largest investor, as well as QC Copper, acquired it last year. And it's been a long process of understanding the data. There's been a huge amount of data that we've acquired. It was all analog, and we've spent a lot of time, effort, and resources scanning it. And the scanning is going to be digitized, and it's going to be meant to inform our new geologic model. And our new geologic model is really initially going to be focused on delineating the bulk tonnage resource near surface, particularly in the K11, which is east of where the old mine was at the K22, which is the very high grade underground deposit, which is still hosted at Thierry, and ultimately seeing if we can connect those two. Even if we don't, we know there's a lot of growth on K11. Everybody can see the drill results that were done last year, the two drill results of 100-meter plus ore grade near surface, and it's all very shallow. We've got 4 or 5, in fact, 5 new holes coming out. We anticipated as early as this week in terms of those assays. Visually, they're analogous to the other 2 holes. So we've had 7 holes that look like very long, wide, mineralized intersections of copper, nickel, as well as platinum and palladium we're seeing there, interestingly enough. But these are really wide zones, and we think it's going to get a lot bigger, as all indications point to the K11 system is open east along strike, west along strike, and one of those holes goes right underneath it, a very wide intersection underneath all of the known drilling on K11, which only goes to 150 meters. So there's one hole that we're going to particularly keep our eye on when those results come through. But it's looking like this is going to be a very sizable resource, one that is actually quite predictable in how the mineralization behaves. We can predict quite simple. I wouldn't say there's nothing simple, but so far the mineralization has proved quite predictive, which is how we can build tons and grade and pounds in the ground relatively quickly. So everybody should stay tuned on the developments of Cuprum, obviously from all the investors' standpoint, in particular QC Copper as well as OCI. They're in at 5 cents. We just completed a 12-cent financing. So that's quite a nice markup, and I believe that's just the beginning.
Thanks, Stephen. Certainly a good markup for Orecap and QC Copper in at 5 cents with the most recent financing. Moving on to today's news, there were some pretty impressive assays released: 104 meters at 0.56 and 103 meters at 0.57% copper equivalent. What can we expect from the additional 5 assays drilled in 2023, as well as work on the project moving forward?
Aside from the short-term assays, we got 5 assays coming out in the near term. Those will be released on behalf of OCI and QC Copper, of course. It's really about the future of Cuprum and raising money and putting more steel into the ground. We want a substantive drill program there that is going to build tons, pounds in the ground quickly. So it's all about positioning the company, whether we take it public, which is certainly been plan A, or whether we look at alternative routes. We've had a lot of people knock on our door, express a lot of interest in the Thierry. But the truth is, we're just wrapping our heads around what the Thierry is and its potential upside. We think in a rising copper environment, which certainly looks like on a longer term basis, we're there. Finally, people are waking up to the supply and ultimately the demand aspects of copper. To have something that's on the rail, on the road, access to power in a mature mining district with a resource that is going to get substantially bigger, particularly because this asset has been domiciled in companies that have been very capital constrained for the last 30 years. And frankly, nobody has taken the time to aggregate and compile all of the historic data. It's good data, but if you don't put it all together and make sense of it in a modern context, what good is it? We have invested the time and energy in doing that, and that's going to pay off in our plans that will be informed by that model and the future drill programs, and of course the ensuing resource that we will eventually publish on the Thierry, which of course is 100% owned by Cuprum without any royalties.
Well, thanks again for your time, Stephen, and for providing the latest update on Orecap and its position in Cuprum's 100% owned Thierry copper project. Again, that's Orecap, which can be found on the TSXV under the symbol OCP. Aye.